Well, I've driven down what appears to be an abandoned road, an old farm road actually, as it looked like an abandoned gate up at the front. And this is, well, I don't know, you may have seen one of these before, but anyway, that's to keep cattle from crossing it. Their hooves go through it and they get stuck in it. I am really hoping this supports the weight of my truck, and because there's all sorts of neat stuff out here. Show you where I'm headed, and we're going to talk about fallow fields and what that means. But before I talk about it, here's something you probably haven't seen before. It's an elderberry. Look at the color on that. Isn't that amazing? What a neat plant. All right, I'm I don't know, half or 3/4 of a mile back on this abandoned ranch, and I know it's an abandoned ranch because there's abandoned hay bales all over the place out here, like you see right here behind me. And there's some other telltale signs like this old corral, but I'm going to walk over here and show you to you. But as I do that, I want you to see what this place kind of looks like. Little songbirds there. There was a red-tailed hawk here just a moment ago that moseyed on as I drove up. And it looks like this ranch is being used by dove hunters now. But anyway, so right here we have an old, these are corral posts. They're so heavy built because there's going to be a lot of cows pushing on this, and this heavy cable and everything else. And it's all grown over now, and you can see that it's probably a barn or a gear house, or maybe a tack house or something like back there. So this abandoned ranch, for whatever reason it was abandoned, could be property taxes, who knows, could be inherited by a person who didn't want to be a farmer, which is entirely possible, very common these parts anyway. And it's been left fallow. Okay, now there is a program where the government will pay farmers to leave a certain portion of their land fallows, the CRP program. Now, when you do fallow fields, well, let me back up. Ranches are constantly being mowed. They're either being mowed by a shredder, which is like essentially a giant lawnmower that goes on the back of a tractor. And you can even see this old lawnmower here, just as proof of what I'm talking about. They're constantly being mowed, in which case secondary succession is constantly being reset, or they're being grazed and often overgrazed, which means the cattle are coming through and compacting the soil like crazy and eating the plants down to nothing, and so nothing has a chance to really grow there. And likewise for the wildlife, there's not a whole lot of chance for other wildlife to live there. When these ranches and stuff go fallow, or they're left fallow on purpose, then it becomes this pretty amazing habitat. I'm going to pick the camera up and kind of move it around so you could kind of see where I'm at. So right here where I'm standing on this old abandoned ranch, there's, you know, myriad different trees. I'm looking at probably 10 or 15 different species of trees right here. I've passed at least 3 different species of grass, and there's loads and loads of species of herbaceous vegetation out here, and it's all at various heights, where some of it's really low and some of it's really high and really thick. And there's this huge diversity of different habitats here, microhabitats. There's all sort of stuff going on here. And now this fallow ranch becomes great wildlife habitat for all sorts of stuff. Snakes, rabbits, coyotes, tons of different songbirds are going to be living here. Of course, the predatory birds like that big hawk that I just told you about. There's tons of different wildlife opportunities for wildlife in fallow fields, fallow ranches. So that's why these programs that have farmers leave their land fallow for a year or two, one season, or multiple seasons, really gives the opportunity for us to have agriculture, but to also have wildlife management. A note about hunting. Hunting is often a very valuable practice, particularly in places where mankind has removed most of the predators. And then mankind has to fill that niche, right? We have to be the predators and keep populations in check. And that's really important. However, you know, with almost anything, there are ethical people and unethical people, and that applies to hunting as well. There are plenty of unethical hunters. I just passed over there a whole bunch of dove decoys that are just plastic garbage now, that have just been left as rubbish. And then driving out, notice this. Someone has killed all these squirrels, and then they didn't use the meat or anything like that, just cast them out. I'm assuming they've been poisoned, A, because I don't see any bullet wounds, and B, because nothing will touch them. When buzzards and coyotes and everything won't touch them, they've probably been poisoned, which means not only is these animals killed for no reason, no productive reason, now they're full of toxins and poisons that are out here and left in the environment. Those animals, if they were going to be poisoned, then they should have been put in the garbage, not left out here to poison even more animals that eat them.